Ciao a tutti. Another episode of Glauco does Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ. Episode 6. I'm almost 2 months in and I got my nerd glasses on. I took some notes. I'm going to try to make these episodes a little less rambly. And also, the notes help to not lose myself so quickly. But things are going well. My body's slowly starting to adapt to Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm not feeling like a car ran over me. After each session, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable. Also, I'm losing a little bit of fear every time. Before the sparring rounds, you never know what you're going to get. You never quite know what you should be, focusing or attempting. For me, one thing I tried to do was to focus on, I'll be getting into that later. But anyways, how was the session? The session was good. The sensei is back in action. And I really felt the difference of the sensei coming back. And I'm very glad Jew is back. So the warm-up consisted of doing yoga moves, different yoga moves, different mobility, flexibility exercises, different stretches. And then we did a candle. I don't know if it's called candle in English, but it's like you're on your back and then you throw your legs up in the air and you hold your hips. We call it Herze in German. But so we did that into not holding, but just throwing the legs up and then coming back into a penetration step, both sides, and then rolling back and turning one way and then coming back, turning the other way. So we did that. Then we did some judo rolls. We made like a line, and then we did some judo rolls and some shrimping, which I'm really, really bad at. It's just so unnatural for me to move. If I'm shrimping and I'm on my left side, to move my left leg is so unusual to me. I always want to use the right one. Then we did some Flo Rolling, and then, I knew Flo Rolling was kind of like easy sparring, no submission. But so something interesting happened here, an incident where I was Flo Rolling with a young white belt, a young one-stripe white belt. And, it's not like he was overly aggressive or something, but we're both noobs and, we don't know our bodies too well just yet. And whatever the case may be, I was in some kind of guard. He was on top. None of us really had anything like good going on. But I had my left hand out like this and my thumb was sticking out. And he tried to go into mount and he smacked his heel against my thumb. And I think he sprained, or I sprained my left thumb that way. And something interesting happened there. He said he was sorry, he didn't mean it. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. But inside, I was so pissed. And first, I was really upset with the other guy, right? Because he just fucked up my hand, and I'm trying to be so careful, when using my hands. And I play guitar as well, so. And it took me like a long time to really shake off that feeling. And luckily we didn't spar with each other, because otherwise I would have tried to take off his head. But that's also something I have to come to terms with, And first I was upset at him, then I was upset at myself actually, because my body's so goddamn fragile. I get like little nagging injuries so quickly. So the session was on Thursday, right? And on Tuesday, I just had a regular strength workout at home, doing some pull-ups. Everything went well. Then I did some push-ups, and out of the blue, my left ring finger just started to ache, as if, I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm like, for crying out loud, I'm just trying to be careful, just trying to get a little bit more flexible and strong, and there's always some fucking shit going on, but, luckily, I could shake off those feelings, and then I was, I'm still a little bit upset about my body, but all I can do really is just recover, take it easy, take things slow, one step at a time. And if it's one thing I learned from the whole session also is I tried so hard, I'll be getting into that a little later. But anyways, that incident I wanted to talk about It's just something I have to learn, man. You know, just getting to just suppress that ego and just, you know, going with the flow and just continue, just going on. Anyways, then we did some takedowns, takedowns into mount. I did some single legs. I did some ogoshis. I did some also togari into mount, although I'm really bad at them. But the single leg is starting to be better. And the ogoshi is also not bad. The other ones I still am really, really bad at. And then as we did these takedowns, change partners, then I actually got around with Sensei, the black belt, and he showed me an Americana unlocked on mount. If I'm on mount, if I'm mounting someone, I grab his arm if it's out, if it's available. His right arm, I smack it on the mat. I grab his wrist, his right wrist with my right hand, right? I post my right elbow. Then I go underneath his right arm to my wrist. And then I pull my left elbow back just slightly. And then I just pull up or like this. Hold on. Yeah, it's like this. Like this. That's an Americana. That's not a kimura. I think kimura is similar, but not quite that, maybe some other time, but at least I unlocked an arm submission. Those were the warm-ups. Now the main drill. We did straight foot locks again. We did some escapes. Escape one that he showed us was you sit up, like if he's trying to take my left leg, for instance. I sit up, I pretend to be putting on my left shoe, so I, you know, don't put my foot like this, but like this. And then I lean over towards my foot, and then I peel off his right leg. I hop over, and then, what is it? Hop over, and then I like jump into mount or something. That was still a little bit odd, but the main escape I think I got. And then another escape was, for instance, same leg. If he was to take my same leg, let's say, my left leg, I don't go up straight like that, but I lean over to my free leg like this. I post with my right hand. I sit up, right? And then I almost like try to stand up into my leg. And then there I peel off one leg, then the other, slide into mount. And then we did like a cross-collar choke drill, which I informed myself that's a choke I really like. So I had a little bit of, I was a little bit familiar with it. And then the drill continued on to roll over to, so he rolled over and then he is in my close guard. And then to just finish the choke like this, you're supposed to pull, but then also do the butterfly thing like this. Pull, and then like this. And then we did, there's some tips, some good tips I wrote down. Tip from Judo, the sensei said, as I have my partner into my guard, I'm supposed to be pulling him in, you know, if I'm like this, I'm supposed to be pulling him, you know, towards me. This is something that's still quite a bit odd for me. And a tip from Dragan, who gave me a good tip, is he almost like bridges onto the partner's knee. So he's not flat, his butt is not flat on the floor, his butt is on his opponent's knee, so he will get in that position, so it's harder for the other guy to stand up. That's one thing I done. Then sparring. I am very, very happy about the sparring. You know, despite my thumb being a bit jacked, I tried my best. And I don't know if I tried a little bit too hard with the grips. I gripped really, really, really freaking hard, and I'm feeling it a little bit in my left hand. This was also something that Dragan said to me. We sparred in the third round. He said, don't fucking grip so hard. If your opponent is trying to get rid of the grip, release it, find something else, because a lot of injuries happen there as you're just stubbornly holding on to the grips and then your hands get ripped off. So that's something I try to keep in mind. But anyways, let's take it from the top. Round one, sparring. I sparred with a young one stripe white belt. He was quite a unit, and I pulled guard successfully. And one thing I tried to keep in mind, because last time as I pulled guard, I was always very slow as I pulled into guard. So they already were trying to stand up. And this time I tried to get the back here behind the neck. I grabbed there and then a sleeve. And then I put my right hand on his hip. And then as I go down, I pulled down as well. So I tried to make it more fast. And then sometimes I smacked myself, like I didn't roll smoothly into close guard, but it worked a lot better. Then I almost triangled him, but he had like a hand of his stuck in there. And I don't know what I could have done different. I think I was just pulling downward. Maybe I could have squeezed my legs better too. But he actually escaped that somehow. And we were both like, both impressed. We're like, wow, that was really cool. Anyways, and then the second round was with another one stripe white belt about my age, maybe 1-2 years older. I again successfully pulled guard. And then I almost armbarred him, you know, cross grip, you know. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was like his collar like this and then the sleeve like that. And then I pulled my leg over, which was easy for me. But then as I tried to finish, I just squeezed his arm into my nuts. I'm like, where's the submission? And he's like, squeeze. I'm like, where? I was squeezing into my nuts. What's going on here? And so, I mean, we both laughed and he kind of jokingly tapped, but I didn't really get him, but I got into an armbar. And then I asked Dragan, because the third round was luckily with Dragan, the purple belt. He was in his guard, and there I learned to not grab his leg sleeves, because then he can control my arms. So it's better to grab the feet and not go for the sleeves on the leg right away, because otherwise he can capitalize on that. That's one thing I learned. And then I almost passed his guard. I was so pissed. I almost passed his guard. But before that, I did some knee slides and tripod stands, something. And then the bell rang off. But before that, I asked him the armbar tips. And he said, as you armbar someone, you have to try and see where his thumb is showing and where that hole is, where you can actually pull, where you can hyperextend the arm. If this is not hyperextension, maybe that way it is. So I was just pulling straight back, and he said, maybe in that situation I would have had to pull like back, left, like that. You have to find that hole and then hyperextend and then get the submission. So that was a great tip from Dragan, and I almost pulled his past his guard, and then the bell rang off. And I was a little bit upset because of my little faux pas. But all in all, I think it was pretty good. And I started to read a book also, Jiu-Jitsu University by Saulo Ribeiro. Ribeiro? Yeah. And the first chapter he writes about with the white belts is something that I'm also going to keep in mind. And is something that I was able to successfully do in the last session, which was just survive. Okay? Survival, defense should be the first priority. And I think I maybe went a little bit crazy on the grips last times, but still, I didn't go all crazy, and I just tried to keep a steady close guard. That's all I tried to do. And some things I saw I could capitalize on, I tried, but I'm not proficient at that so much yet. But what he writes about is just, in the beginning, is just about survival. Just defending, survival. And he writes about jiu-jitsu not being just something you go in and you say, I'm going to do an armbar, and then you try to attempt the armbar. It's looking for opening. It's very reactive in that way. But I mean, I'm not there, you know, I'm not even a mile within anything close of that territory, but it's just still made me think, okay, so I'm not going in to just like force something on, even though I just said, okay, I'm just going to try to stick to close guard as good as I can. But then you have to react. You have to see what is he giving you? What's going on? Is he strong? Is he young? Is he trying to move a lot? How are you doing? You know, what is available? So that's something I'm going to keep in mind. I hope that my hand is going to get better for next Thursday, which is going to be the next lesson I'll attend. This fucking asshole is really nagging me, and the thumb is getting good quite fast. At the beginning it was like, oh my god, put like ice bags on it and everything, so I have to take it a little easy with the grips and yeah, be careful with my hands. That was it. Glauco does Jiu-Jitsu episode 6. See you next time.